Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
We finally went out.
We sure did. We went out to dinner with friends that we haven't seen. Well, we haven't been out with in a long time.
Right. I saw them at their wedding. They got married 2 months ago.
Yes.
So
yes.
I was at the wedding.
And who were these people?
Kim and George.
Kim and George. All right.
Yes. So
we had a wonderful time. Yes. We had a wonderful time. We actually got kicked out. We got kicked out
because we were still talking and laughing long after our food was gone.
Yeah, after we paid the bill, we were still there. We wouldn't get up, wouldn't leave.
Yes, but we understood when we were politely asked to leave because people were waiting on tables, which we didn't know because we were in our own little world. We were in our own little bubble.
Exactly. You know, I had thought about that several times while we were sitting there.
Not me.
Gee, we've been here for a long time.
I was totally in the bubble.
Paid our bill
enjoying
the company time ago.
Enjoying the company and the food. And I felt safe, too. I know some of our listeners are well aware that I rarely leave the house. So I felt safe.
That's true. Okay. Well, great. What are we doing today, Jill?
Well, this week's topic is who hurt you?
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
It's part of a segment that we call
Stand by Your Stance.
You actually did do it.
I didn't do it.
You wrote a whole poem to me when we were dating. Basically saying, I didn't hurt you, someone else did.
Well, yes, in this poem. I didn't know you was going to bring up that poem. I probably would have pulled it out.
Oh, you still remember parts of it because every now and then you just say it. You just recite parts of it. So I'm sure you still remember lines from that poem. I still remember lines from that poem because I didn't like it. I mean, it was a great poem. It's just, I didn't want to hear it.
Okay.
Do you remember any lines?
No, I just went blank.
Really? I am not your past.
Yeah.
I am your present and your future too.
If you can understand. Yeah.
See, I knew you knew.
Understand. Yeah.
But
so anyway, this is all about singles that have had some bad relationships and they became scarred from those relationships of what happened in those relationships. But they bring that old relationship, the scar, into their new relationship, which is never a good thing.
True,
never.
Because you just said scar. I think it's a wound that can heal.
Yes. I do believe that, but I also believe I think I do like my choice of words of scar, because you need to remember also what happened so it doesn't happen again.
Right. So you need to learn from it. And
I have a scar on my right arm, a big scar.
You do?
See?
Oh, you do. Okay. I'm thinking, I thought you meant metaphorical.
No, a real physical scar. And I know that every time I see that scar, I remember how I got it. And I also remember to make sure I don't do anything that will create another scar that looks just like it.
True.
So it's the same with, relationships. You can get hurt in a relationship, especially when you're young and in love and you think it's going to last forever. And the person just does you wrong.
Right. I think all of us, whether we're single or not, I think all of us have had a bad relationship with someone. But it's supposed to work out to where you learn from that, of what that's not good for you. Maybe that person is still a good person. They're just not good for you and what you need in your life.
Well, that's true. But
and then sometimes they're just bad people.
But here's the deeper question, which is if you have been scarred by someone in a relationship, and you
When we
do.
say hurt, I'm still not agreeing with your choice of words. Sorry. When we say hurt. Say something. Okay, you can say scar. You say scar. I
You'll
will say
say
hurt. Go ahead.
Yes.
Finish your thought.
Scarred.
Finish your thought.
Scarred is the word I want to use.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know you're a fantastic editor, okay? And you helped me with something earlier today, and
I sure did, and I'm probably going to have do again for you.
And I'm very happy that you pointed something out to me, that it's something that needed to be edited, and you were 100% right. But this time, I do want to use the word scarred.
Okay, finish your thought.
Oh, now I don't remember now. Well, no, it's about having a scar. And instead of remembering what happened and learning from it, a person can bring that scar with them to their next relationship. So the new person they're with is not the same person that scarred them.
Or maybe they are.
Or maybe they are. Yes.
If you haven't learned your lesson, they may very well be.
That's
the
right.
Same exact kind of person.
I was going to get to that, because people do tend to make the same mistakes over and over and over again until they learn. But I wasn't going to talk about that right now.
Okay.
What I was going to talk about is you meet another person that's actually great, that may be great for you. They're the right person. But instead, you may not trust that person because the person you were with before cheated on you. You may not trust that person because the person before stole all your money and your identity. So you may not trust the new person that is really a fantastic person. So here, maybe you can answer this, Jill. So how does one overcome the scars from past relationships and be able to move on and have a healthy and happy relationship?
Well, that's a loaded question because there are many different ways to do it. But the way I did it, because I used to, my picker used to be off. I used to get with, have relationships with the same kind of person, and maybe they weren't all to the same degree, but I would choose people that really weren't available to me emotionally, or, like it wasn't that they were commitment phobic, but I was never the priority for them, not even in the top 3. So the way I got over it was every time I got into a new relationship or went out on a date with a new person, I would give them, I would approach that date like what it was, which is with a new person. So the slate is clean. However, I learned to understand and notice the signs of when it's not. It's not that I was constantly on guard for it, but if they said something that just didn't quite add up in my mind, I went with that instinct. Like my gut might have been telling me, something's off here. And I learned to listen to my gut instincts. So, whereas before I would ignore my gut instincts.
So what if your gut instinct was incorrect? And what if your gut instinct was acting upon what you have been through in a past relationship?
So you're saying, what if my gut instinct is saying this person is the same as all the others?
Yes, but they're not.
Then I would take a step back and work on myself.
But how would you know that? How would you know that you're not viewing this correctly? Because most of us don't know. I have been in many bad relationships.
Me too.
And it took a long time for me to realize the problem wasn't with the people I was in a bad relationship with. The problem was with me
Well, that's
and
why I said
choosing
take time for
these
yourself. Really
people.
see what works for you. Take time
Yeah,
for yourself.
but we often don't know that. That's the problem.
So how do you know that?
Well,
I
y-
got to that point because I was just tired of dating, people that weren't good for me.
Well, I got to that point I had been getting closer to that point, but I wasn't all the way there until I had the worst relationship of my whole life.
So you had to hit rock bottom in regard to
I
relationships before
Yes,
you
I
took a
had to
step back.
hit I had to hit rock bottom. Rock bottom. And that's when I realized never again will I choose the wrong person, because I knew what type of person I was choosing. It's just like people that choose someone that looks like their ex.
Right. They have a type.
Always, they have a type. Well, my type wasn't a look. My type was their emotional and mental state. That was my type. If they Yes, that was my type. If they had some type of mental illness or something else going along, I would find them or they would find me. And
But
that's
you're not telling our listeners to hit rock bottom before they work on themselves, right?
Well, I'm telling that story yes, because I don't want them to have to hit rock bottom. I believe the reason you and I have such a great relationship is because we've had so many bad ones.
Yes, and we finally learned.
Yes,
We
and finally,
finally
like,
learned.
oh,
It
I
took me a
can't.
while.
That's right. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I just can't do it. So it breaks down to what I've said before. One, be happy with yourself, which is another loaded question on how to get to that point. And it's different for many people, but you really have to be happy and confident with yourself and know your worth.
Yes.
That you're worth good in your life. You're worth a wonderful relationship. You're even if you decide, hey, I don't want anybody, right? I just
Right.
want to be by myself.
Yes.
But as long as you're happy doing that, all is good.
Yes. Because I think whether you're happy being single or you still want someone, I think you have the focus should be you. You need to be happy with yourself
Absolutely.
in both of those scenarios.
Absolutely.
Making it words.
Yeah, making it words. I'm former President George Bush. I make up words.
So, again, back to who hurt you. Has anyone ever have you ever brought your past into your present relationship and someone said, "Who hurt you?" because of all the things you were saying to them?
Mm-hmm.
They have said that to you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've had times where I used to love to dance. So where do you go to dance?
Used to?
I hardly dance anymore, but I used to love it. Okay. So I used to go to clubs to dance, not as much to pick up women, but first and foremost to dance, just so I could dance.
Right.
And I would ask anyone to dance. Tall, short, overweight, skinny. It didn't matter. Didn't matter the person. I would just ask them. So if I asked a woman that was standing next to another woman that was extremely attractive. So let's say one woman was a number 10, as people rate beauty, and the woman that I approach is a 5. let's say.
Okay.
And I hate to use that type of rating system.
Yes.
Really, I really do. But I would ask the 5 to dance. And instead of just saying no, thank you, or sure, and this has happened more than once, it happened several times. Why are you asking me? That's what they would say.
Whoa. That's their immediate answer?
Yes. Why are you asking me? I said, what do you mean? I just want to dance. You're here, you're standing there, you look like you might want to dance. How come you didn't ask her? And she'll point to the very attractive woman. I said, I saw you standing here like you wanted to dance. Would you like to dance? No. There must be a reason you asked me. She said, are you a con man? I said,
wow.
No, I am not a con man. I'm not a con man. I just want to dance.
So did you ask her who hurt you?
Well, I did say, I said, look, I know you've probably been burned before by a con man or something, but I don't even want your phone number. I don't need your name. I just want to dance. Would you like to dance? And she said no. She said no. She said no.
So why was she there?
I have no idea. Maybe her friends brought her there and she didn't want to go. I don't know. But what I did notice is that for the rest of the night, that woman watched me. And she watched me and she watched me and watched me dance with all different types of women. Just like I said, I just want to dance. If somebody looks like they want to dance, I'll ask them. And she watched me all night like a hawk. So things like that.
Was she going to tell them, don't do it, girl?
No, I mean, I would dance with a person, for 10 minutes or so, and I'd say thank you and move on. I wasn't trying to get anything out of
I understand
anyone.
that. I'm just trying to understand her perspective, her perception. Clearly, she's been hurt.
Well, she did say
she's been hurt.
She did say more to me. She also told me that no, she says, you don't even look like you should be in a place like this. You look completely different than all of these other guys. And you are better looking than all of these other guys, but yet you come to me. So there must be something you want from me. You must see me as some type of target.
Wow.
No.
That sounds like low self-esteem on her part.
No, it's because she's been burnt before. A con man conned her, and she wants to make sure that doesn't happen again. So in her eyes, if there's a guy that seems too good to be true, she probably is. He's probably a con man.
Sometimes sometimes when people seem too good to be true, chances are they are.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't seem too good to be true.
No.
I did.
No.
I didn't. I'm not worth the heading of too good to be true.
No.
Oh,
that's a compliment.
Oh, Lord. I thought you loved me.
I do love you. But, you and I have talked about unicorns. You weren't a unicorn to me.
I wasn't a unicorn?
No, not at all.
Why not?
You make great conversation. You're great company.
I was a successful, single Black man.
That's not a unicorn to me.
It isn't?
No.
What is a unicorn?
I don't know. I don't know what my unicorn would be. No, but that wasn't odd to me at all.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're magical for sure, but you weren't a unicorn.
That's funny. That's funny. So, Jill, do you have any advice?
We're not
Like
there yet.
straight, oh, I can't help it. That's where I want
No,
to
we're
go.
not there yet. We have to talk a little bit longer. So let's talk about why you wrote that poem for me. What made you write that poem? And then call me up and recite it to me.
Well, I noticed certain things
Like,
about you. I remember now that there was a line in there that said, "What could have happened to you to make you think you're not beautiful?" Do you remember that line?
yes.
So obviously you must have said something to me or done something that made me see that made
You don't
me
recall?
pick up on that. No, I actually don't recall exactly what it was you said or did. Doesn't matter anymore because whatever that was, you no longer do that. Doesn't exist anymore.
True.
So
that is true.
That was the other thing. There was things in our relationships that we had a issue with. I found something amusing that you were very passionate about.
Yes.
And you got very angry. I thought I thought that it was not characteristic of the woman I thought I knew. I didn't think that reaction was characteristic. So, you got very angry, and then you didn't want to talk about it. Mostly it's men that don't want to talk about it. You withdrew.
Yes.
And that's what made me think, hey, whatever happened in your past, whoever hurt you and caused you to withdraw, I'm not that person. If I inadvertently hurt you, I want to know what it is I did. I want to talk about it and apologize and make sure it doesn't happen again. But if we don't talk about it, we were going to go nowhere, because I didn't want a relationship with you where we didn't truly communicate.
Right.
And proof is this podcast.
I know.
I communicate with you all the time. I love it so much. I decided we needed a podcast to do it also. So, yeah, so several things. I think if I get that poem out and read it again, it'll refresh my memory of all the different reasons I wrote it. Yes, and you did not like it.
No, I did not like it.
You didn't like that poem till like 5 years later. Or more. or more.
Because it was a reminder to me. Well, first of all, I am glad that you wrote the poem because and recited it to me, because it was the first time I realized what I was doing, in that I had put you in the box with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he must be like all the other guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but you were the first one to tell me, like, no, I'm not. Well, you weren't the first one to tell me you weren't, but you were the first one to call it to my attention that this is what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So for that reason, I ended up liking the poem. But the reason it took me so long to like truly like the poem is because it was a reminder of a flaw in me. Because it was, as you said at the beginning of this podcast, we have to look at ourselves. Maybe it's us. And so, yes, I still maintain that the flaws I could not tolerate in my other relationships were real. Those were real things.
Correct.
Situations. However, it took you and that poem to let me know that I was carrying that from relationship to relationship.
All right.
And so it took me a long time because it was a reminder of my own flaw. And who wants to look at their own flaws? All right. So let's get to our second segment that we call
Give it a rest and a resolution.
Well,
conclusion. This is conclusion, not advice.
Conclusion, we can't give any advice
Not
in
yet.
our conclusion.
Not yet. Conclusion.
Oh, I don't like
unless you have more advice later.
Well, it's really quite easy, and then it's not quite easy. But the conclusion is that you really do need to be happy with yourself to be happy in a relationship. And that takes work.
Yes.
That takes a lot
yes, relationships take work.
Yes.
So my conclusion would be, yes, I echo what you just said. It starts with self, but recognize that every person is different.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Now you can give advice.
No, actually, I wanted you to go first because I wanted to ask you earlier, do you have some advice, for single people, anyone that's been in a relationship before and they're not letting go of the pain of that past relationship?
Well, my advice would be, sometimes pain, like you were talking about with your actual scar, your physical scar, sometimes pain is a reminder of where we've been and where we're going, of progress, actually. Mm-hmm. So just as your physical scar reminds you not to do that again, to get that scar,
mm-hmm.
maybe sometimes we shouldn't let go of that memory. You can let go of the pain, sure,
mm-hmm.
but don't forget who you used to be.
Okay, yeah, that's
if that makes sense.
That's pretty good.
Or don't forget what others have done, so that you can look for those signs.
Yes, I
or
agree.
Recognize the signs.
I agree with that. Also, and I just thought of this while you were talking. But sometimes we are not able to see what our real issues are. But our close family and friends see it so clearly, but we don't want to hear it because
tell me about
they
it.
Start telling and we get angry. Okay. So I think that we also need to work with ourselves to learn how to take that constructive criticism about past relationships, because other people can see things that you're doing that you do not see. You don't see it. You do it over and over again. You're making the same mistake.
That's true.
And we don't see it. So
that's true. I also think that when a relationship ends, you should take time to reflect on what didn't work for you so that you don't do it. Like, don't just hop from one relationship to another like J-Lo does, like.
Why are you calling out J-Lo?
Because she just needs to be by herself for a little while.
Stop calling out J.
She needs to be by herself for a little while.
Stop calling her out.
She does. Well, anyway, let's get to our fourth segment.
I thought you were gonna say burn somebody's clothes or something.
No. Like, just take time to
reflect. All right. What's our last segment, Jill?
That we call.
So, what do you think?
What do you think? Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
You messed us all up. What's the phone number?
What is our phone number?
404-594-2247. All right.
Yay.
Well, you've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Stinky for the art, and to you too, listeners. Thank you.
Thank you. We love you all. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.